Bjorn.
Oh shit.
Hello, Bjorn.
Oh
How you
shit.
doing? You're on with Rudy,
Oh
Puck, and
shit. On the
Jena.
first one.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Hi.
All
What
right.
did you want
Hey.
to talk about, Bjorn?
I'm not the insurrectionist one. I'm the opposite of that.
Say that again?
At what point does religious tolerance become dangerous? That's what I want to ask.
I want to try to make sure I'm understanding your question. Do you mean that allowing religious groups to exist and to have the kind of values that they would choose to have, how much does society allow groups like that to exist and
Exactly.
to talk about their values?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because, like, I come on this channel because I'm, like, extremely transcendentalist. But at the same time, how do you ethically excuse an attempt at an insurrection? And on this, oh, fuck. Wait, no, yeah, you asked me a question. Hold on.
Take it back. Take it back.
Yeah, take your time. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
As nervous as you are calling, we've all
Because-
been nervous being on a call-in show for the first time. So we're right there with you. Take your time.
I took some anxiety medicine right before going on air, so
This
we're
is
all on
full
the
of
same
orange soda.
page.
We're all doing what we need to do here. So help me understand a little bit more about what you're trying to ask. I think I got it, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
So, like, all right. So many things are so stupid and so simple to fix. First off, how is abstinence, like purity culture, right? How is abstinence only education legitimate? It's oxymoronic in name. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you that abstinence only education is detrimental to what you want to accomplish. But at the same time, it'd be very difficult for me to argue against the idea that if someone does want to wait until a significant part of their significant milestone in their marriage before they have sex, like, that's their choice. That's their choice. And if a group of people decide that they want to do this and want to hold each other to their promise, I don't really have too much of a problem with that. If you don't want to have sex for whatever reason, great. I think the problem that I have is when they try to turn it into legislation, or to try to turn it into the idea that anybody who doesn't follow this is by definition immoral, like the people out there in the world. So choosing to do it for yourself and choosing to be in a group that will help you keep your commitments that you choose to make, I don't really have a problem with that, other than I probably wouldn't join that group. But it's, to me, the only time it crosses a line is when they try to either try to encourage, not even encourage, how do I want to say this? When they try to insist that they have some sort of advantage or benefit because they are more pure, and try to make the rest of the world look bad, kind of as a recruiting measure, or if they are trying to limit how much other people can have access to information, that they want to do their own research.
Yeah.
That's where I would draw my line. What do you guys think?
I agree with you, Puck. I think that the line is definitely at restricting other people from doing what you don't want to do. You know, I think that it's been said plenty of times. I'm not going to say it like it's original, or I'm going to say it any better than anybody else, but you know, the point where sort of your freedom to do whatever you want ends is when it starts being to the detriment of other people. So if you don't want to have sex until you're married, fine. Don't. You don't have to. No one's gonna make you. But you can't just say, well, I don't want anybody to even know how to do it because I don't want to do it. That makes no sense. The problem is, as far as legislation goes, even though that seems perfectly fucking obvious when you say it out loud like that, that's not how Christian nationalists think. And a lot of them are in government or voters. So they just vote for, well, that's what I want to see more of. I want to see less people having sex before marriage. So I'm okay with abstinence only education, not really considering that not everybody wants to live a biblical lifestyle, and it's not necessarily beneficial for everybody to live a biblical lifestyle. That's just not what they're thinking of, even though it seems obvious to us.
Yeah, I'm even fine with talking about the advantages of choosing, say, abstinence until marriage. There's a lot of benefits to it, and there's a lot of good reasons why someone would want to choose that. And if a group wanted to advocate for that and say, these are the reasons why we think it's a great idea, that's cool. But one thing that religion tends to do is to speak for the other side as if they know what they're talking about. And they say something like, those atheists over there, they have no moral compass. They're just going to do whatever. But we are the moral ones. We know what's right because we have objective morality on our side. So it's the other point is when you're starting to vilify the other side and speak for them instead of allow the other side to present their case also.
Right. Their mentality is, well, God didn't just create us Christians. He created all of us. So when he says this is best for y'all, it's best for everyone as far as they're concerned.
Back to the point of religious tolerance being dangerous, and more specifically, the cognitive dissonance involved with nationalist Christianity. I mean, forgive me, I'm not a Christian, but I can play the part of an apologist here. How do you glorify a vain, arrogant, xenophobic, greedy, etc. dude with a guy who is all about the opposite? Like,
I get what you're asking, and that's starting to kind of, stretch the confines of the show and the subject matter of the show. But I see where you're coming from, and I do see a lot of the contradictory. I don't quite understand it. And there are a lot of things about that we can get into, but I'm going to try to steer in a different direction for the sake of this show, though. Yeah. Jena, what are your thoughts on how much we should tolerate religion and religious teachings?
Given the fact,
oh no, go ahead, boy.
I don't know who is it. It's my own gender dysphoria and just being able to be comfortable in public, which is impossible. But at the same time, I'm completely comfortable in my autistic masks because I've got both. Oh shit! I don't know if that's even within the realm of where I am.
You're fine. You're fine.
You're fine. No, I was just gonna say, just kind of diving back, how much should we tolerate the religious aspect on sexuality and stuff, because there's some good, this is even hard for me to say, but there, for me, as far as the medical, with my medical perspective cap on, I can't rightfully accept or find good in the whole abstinence only, celibacy only until marriage type idea. Obviously, personal choice, that's fine, but when you are given that firm restriction on your life without the proper sexual education to back it, then that's where I just raised my hands and was like, okay, this is not good, because there is two rates among Black women as far as abortion rates and unintended pregnancies are a lot higher, way a lot higher. And so amongst any other group. And then right after that is the Latino community. So when you have the stronghold on Christian-backed abstinence-only teaching, you're doing a disservice in relaying misinformation of medical knowledge to them, or lack thereof. I can say for certain that my parents did not give me any type of sex talk. The sex talk I got was just don't bring home any baggage, aka don't bring home a baby. That's it. The sex education I got was whatever type of sex education they ran in 5th or 6th grade for me, and the internet. That's it. And then eventually when I got into nursing or, biology in school and all that stuff, and through, people and friends and stuff. But from my parents and from the church itself, no, nothing about contraceptive education, nothing about, safe sex. To just because, it's kind of like that play when you're saying, oh, don't do this, but you want to go against, societal rules and be like, oh, I'm going to do it anyway, and then you find yourself in trouble. It's the same thing. When you put a firm restriction on someone to say don't do this and they go about doing it anyway unsafely, or they get hurt or abuse occurs or what have you, then you have these propped up unintended instances where a person is forced to either abort or have to keep this child that they have no means of taking care for, and be damned that the government or society is going to help you taking care of that child too. So it's just a lot that goes around, with the faith-based abstinence only programs. It's just the harm
Yep.
in them saying all of that or not teaching any type of sexual education behind it.
Well, Bjorn, we appreciate your call. Thank you very much. We got to move on to some other callers, but we really appreciate you giving us a call and asking those questions about religious tolerance.
Matrilineal heritage. Matrilineal heritage. Matrilineal heritage.
You know what? Try to take some time to formulate that, and we got to move on. But please, if you want to put something together about that and give us a call next time, we can talk about it. But for right now, let's move on.